Welcome back to Local Matters. I'm your host, Gabriel Riviere-Reed. This season can be quite taxing for some, so we've brought in an expert, Josee Sauve, owner-operator of Sauve Tax Services. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for the opportunity.
All right, so tax season's upon us. A lot of us have saved our medical receipts and donation receipts, but unfortunately not all of us can use those come tax season.
That's right, because those are considered non-refundable tax credits, which means if you didn't pay any taxes, you're not going to get anything back for claiming those things. A lot of people who are unfortunately, either on ODSP or receive the guaranteed income supplement, seniors on their old age pension. If you're receiving that type of income, it means that things like medical receipt and charitable donations can't get you any money back, unfortunately.
All right. Now, speaking of medical expenses, there's always kind of a confusion of what you can and cannot claim. So let's talk about that.
Well, the list is very, very broad. A complete list is available at the Revenue Canada's website. But some of the little known things that people sometimes don't know about, and I do get asked about often, is trips out of town. Because of course here in Cornwall, a lot of us do end up going to Ottawa or Montreal or Winchester to the hospitals there. Yes, you can claim your mileage. You don't keep the gas. You don't have to keep the gas receipts. It's a per diem. So for every kilometer that you travel out of town for a medical appointment, it's 57 cents a kilometer that you get. And the trip has to be more than 80 kilometers round trip. And if you pay for parking, you do need your receipts. You don't have to keep receipts for meals as well. It's also a per diem. But you do need to keep track of your appointments because if you do get audited by Revenue Canada, they will want to see a letter from the clinic or hospital that you've visited in order to verify that you were indeed there for an appointment and not just visiting somebody there. So it's for some people, especially people going for cancer treatments, it can add up to quite a big expense. Absolutely. And quite a great credit on your taxes to have.
Absolutely. All right. So somebody told me that people get a lot of unsolicited advice come tax season. So what are some of the biggest somebody told me that you get?
One of the things is I get a lot of people who bring me all of their electricity bills and their gas bills and oil bills because they think that you can claim that on your taxes because there is a component of the Ontario tax credits that's actually energy, but the only time you can claim your electric and gas bills, if it's part of your heating, is if you live on a reserve, which is great for our friends in Akwesasne, but us in Cornwall, we can't claim that stuff. Another thing a lot of people ask me are the cost of funerals because they'll wonder if you can claim that on your taxes, and unfortunately you can't. Another one is legal fees. I do get that a lot. The cost of for legal fees, it's only if you're trying to recover income. So if you're taking a former employer to court because they owe you some employment income, or if you're fighting for custody of your children, and not the custody part, but only the part that you would be paying a lawyer to set up support. That's the only part that you'd be able to claim. So you'd have to speak with your lawyer about how much of the percentage of your bill was actually for figuring out the support aspect of it from that. And the other thing people mention to me a lot or want to claim are renovations. Back in 2009 or 10, they had what was called the home renovation tax credit, which you were allowed to claim $10,000 in home renovations, and this would give you a credit of about $1,500. There was talk, the Conservative government was actually talking about bringing it back if they got reelected, but they didn't. So that didn't happen. So there is nothing in your taxes, anywhere in the tax forms to put renovations, except of course if it's for medical reasons like widening doorways for wheelchairs, adding ramps, and there is a special healthy home credit for seniors. If you're putting bars in your bathroom, motion sensor lights, non-skid floors. There's a very long list, but if you are 65 or over and you do make modifications to your home to make it safer, then yes, you can claim those things.
Excellent. Now, deadline day is coming to file. We have a little under a month. Why is it important to get your taxes filed on time?
Well, You know, one of the worst things that somebody can do is say, well, I'm going to wait until the last minute because I know I owe. It's the worst thing you can do. I had a gentleman last year, he came in on April 29th, and he brought me his papers. He says, I know I'm going to owe, so I wasn't in a hurry. Well, I had this poor man running all over town because he was missing receipts and he didn't have everything. So it's a good thing that the deadline last year was extended, because otherwise he would have been filing late. It doesn't matter when you file, whether you file February 9th or April 30th, the money is only due on April 30th. It's not due at the time of filing. So don't delay. Get your papers to your tax preparer as soon as you can, just to make sure that you do file on time. There's a hefty penalty if you're, depending on what you owe, it's a hefty penalty for filing even one day late.
Thank you so much for joining me today, Josee. I know this is the busiest time of the year for you. So thank you for sharing those tips, and hopefully our audience will get their taxes filed soon.
You're welcome.
If they haven't already.
Yes.